Today I'm going to talk about the deepening phase of your diploma. Right? You're doing a postgraduate diploma in Chinese strategic thinking. And the whole idea of this deepening phase, after you've done the sharpening phase, is the deepening phase. It's really to deepen your mind, to tap your unconscious. Why do we do that? Because one of the basic Sun Tzu teaching is that you should try and have original strategy. This originality is lost. You don't find any video out of war, there's so many on the market anyway, that emphasize this point. Sun Tzu says you should not repeat your strategy. And if you do this program well, you will be able then to also start to craft your own art of war based on the foundation that Sun Tzu has built on. So I say again, this is a very important part of your training, taking up this course. In other words, having sharpened your mind, next you deepen it, and then the other reason why you should be aware the need for original strategy is those two situations are the same. So if you're going to counter your competitor with your original strategy, you have to think deeply. You have to tap your unconscious mind. It's not simply a matter of logic, not simply a matter of looking at a manual and then drawing from the manual to apply. No, you have to see the situation, analyze the situation, and then formulate your own strategy. In the sharpening phase, right, I have provided you a set of tools, 156 conceptual cards about the war. The whole idea, right, sharpening phase, that your mind is sharp enough so when anybody use a strategy against you, you can sense it, you can understand it, you can see through it, you can know, this guy is using Sun Tzu, now I know. Right, it's so popular. And one of the most popular questions that I've been encountered in my many talks to many executives, thousands of executives, is, Dr. Fu, what would you do if your competitor is himself using other war against you? This is the question that has been asked, and I always answer simply. Number one, right, Sun Tzu always emphasize originality. Sun Tzu don't have one set strategy. Therefore, it's not possible that a competitor is simply applying art of war, right? It will be a question of what stratagem, what strategy your competitor is using, and how then you counter it. Now, don't forget, strategy is easy to use words to describe. It's easy to lecture, but very difficult to implement. Very few are really able to apply Sun Tzu. And that's emphasized. You have seen the biography of Sun Tzu, the series by China, and you'll see that Sun Tzu, in that documentation, right, actually emphasize that when it comes to using Sun Tzu other war, it's a different method altogether. You can know other war, you can quote other war, you can lecture other war, doesn't mean not implement it. So let me go back again. Let's do it clearly. You have sharpened yourself on art of war, hopefully. Right? And then the idea, of course, is that you have art of war absorbed into you, subliminally. And I hope Adventist will set up art of war club, then you can then use those cards and you can play bridge, and then you can absorb the thinking of Sun Tzu, the 156 cards, in order to sharpen up your mind. Then you then, having a sharpened mind, be able, right, to see and relate your competitor strategy vis-a-vis the schema of strategy as outlined in the art of war. Now, perhaps I give a little background on myself, on Sun Tzu's art of war, and then you better appreciate what I try to emphasize in this unique module. There is no program like this throughout the world. None. Ours is unique. It is in fact probably the only program that emphasizes artwork, the use of artwork, right, to convey ideas, to convey concept, deep ideas. Now, when I had an organizing strategy was published, it made impact in the UK, and then you find it in Singapore, right? Jiao Tong Daxue, it was teaching the MBA program. They actually adopted organizing strategy as a textbook for teaching strategy. And later on, I was invited to Jiao Tong Daxue in Shanghai to discuss, to explain my research on our war. And you can see, right, that from the poster that is out there, that they picture a boat and picture a plane. How so remarkably future seeing. South China Sea now, right? If there's any combat, you'll be boats and you'll be the plane to be used in warfare on the sea. But anyway, that was in 1998, and then I gave a lecture on research using organizing strategy. And you find that last 10 years, right, I've been across the whole of China. I make a point to ensure that I do not just visit one city, but that I had across the whole of China. I've been to Urumqi to talk about Sun Tzu, other war research. I've been to Hainan Island to actually teach strategy to master students, right? We're doing research. And of course, I'm a Harbin professor and research professor, right, in Hakonda. So I know China well. I think enough and better qualified than many in the West to talk about what is China, right? So from these experiences, that's why I felt that maybe we should, right, emphasize a lot more on deepening phase in order to win. In order to win, you have to have original strategy. You have to look at the configuration of environment of the situation, and then formulate original strategy. Now you see this is my Futan lecture, right? I gave a lecture in Futan. I also emphasize again on the need to have original thinking in strategy. Now the book Reminiscences of Ancient Strategies, which I'll discuss in detail later on during this presentation. Right? You won a top prize in Singapore. You won a top prize for books publication, right? And it's award-winning. And I want to using this book as a tool for you to shape your mind, for you to deepen your mind. You have already sharpened your mind in the first phase. But sharpening is not good enough if you don't have a deep thinking mind. Our Straight Time is on reading the book. Straight Time did review the book way back in 1997. And the reviewer said, yeah, your book looks into the mind of Sun Tzu. Yes, very few book does that. Right? The psychology of Sun Tzu is important. And later on I will explain, right, our approach in this program. It's not a typical MBA type lecture program module, no, it's not. If you see in that light, then you're off on the wrong footing, right? It's up to you to sharpen your mind, up to you to deepen your mind, because you're the only beneficiary. Right? I created also a self-learning package for you, right, to help you to unlock the power of your mind or for strategic thinking. And these are called the Deepening, right? It's independent self-learning package, right, for deepening your mind. And you can get a company to subscribe to that, to get that for your executives. But it's a self-learning package. It's apart from the postgraduate diploma. But then you'll find, and also the book had some impact, and it was actually one of the best-selling hardback in 1997 by Gower. And of course, you'll find that in Singapore, it was then the best second. It was in the list of top sellers at MPH. And that was during the financial crisis, if you remember, 1997. Right? And yet then he made it. The top of the list was then Soros, if you know, right? Famous billionaire. Okay, now you find, actually when the book was published, it was such a unique history. Right? The chairman of GAO came to me and wanted to publish the book. I didn't need to go through any literature. I didn't need to approach publishers. The publishers came to me. And of course, I originally planned the book to be in 4 volumes, right? But then finally, I agreed to Gower that maybe it's good to have it in one volume first. And as you see that I have actually available on Sun Tzu Institute website, recast the book in terms of the 4th season, right? Spring, summer, autumn, winter for the book. You can get that in volume. Just try one volume first, and you like it, the second, and then the third, and then the fourth. Now, what I did in this book was really to try to recreate the mind of Sun Tzu, through a diary. A diary is the closest thing you can get to a person's mind, and I call it the Sun Tzu. You see the Sun Tzu Da Chuan. If you want to see how Sun Tzu wrote the book, and you can go to the YouTube, you find that there is this Chinese series biography of Sun Tzu, Sun Tzu Da Chuan, and you see him writing scrolls, so different from what we do today. And then you can find the techniques of writing, the words, and the phraseology, the expression, the style of writing. That's so different. But then, it is fun. It's fun. It's good to try and create a diary. And I modeled the whole premise in the strategies along the 13 chapters. And my idea, my purpose was to explore how did Sun Tzu gotten his ideas from in writing those prescriptions. Don't forget, otherwise it's a prescriptive text. Underneath that, there must be a lot of thinking, the rationale, the hypothesis, and all that. So you'll find this long book, heavy book, the hypothesis, and those who read it like it because they thought it reviewed the psychology of Sun Tzu. So what did I do? So I had to walk back to the spring and autumn period, walk back in the mind sense to rediscover Sun Tzu back in time. And if you read the book, I want you to imagine yourself too walking back in time. Read the book. It's not 202. It's actually way back 650 BC, or BCE. And you find that yourself, one fine day, maybe there's a time machine, you may go back, and then you may want to go back to the period where Sun Tzu actually transformed concubines into fighters, proving it to King Halu that it could be done. That would be a very interesting episode to verify for us. And what is most interesting, if you actually read and review the biography of Sun Tzu, documented by the Chinese in what I call documentary historical novel, that in fact, that Sun Tzu had actually written a very long text to explain this principle in Art of War. So what I have done really was to really retrieve this. But it was all burned down now. It's all burned down. But so what I've done was actually maybe to retrieving from the fire, that 82 chapter book that the Chinese said could well have been written by Sun Tzu and was taken away, and that he was so angry with the king that he burned them all away. So and this is why this deepening phase is necessary.